Number 3, we want to factor this. Well, we notice that we're going to have to use busting B method because the A value is a 2. If it's a 1, we can just break it down easily. But when it's a 2, there's different combinations can work. So what we do is we go ahead and multiply 2 and 5, the A value and the C value, which gives us, in this case, a negative 10. We'll worry about the negative in a second. So there's just 1 times 10 and 2 times 5. That's easy enough. One of them is negative and one is positive. We want to create a positive 9. Which of these has a difference of 9? It's this guy. And I want to create a positive 9. Now, since multiplying gives you a negative 10, one of these is negative, one is positive. We want to, when we add them together, we want more gain. So I want the plus on the 10 and the negative on the 1. Notice negative 1 times positive 10 gives me my negative 10, and negative 1 plus 10 gives me my positive 9. So we're going to bust this B up into a minus n plus 10n. Okay? This method is called busting B because we're going to separate B into 2 pieces. And a negative n plus 10 is the same as 9n, no difference. I bring down my minus 5, I bring down 2n squared. Now, this worked out nicely because you had the minus in front. If the minus had been right here, you would have had to just change it to plus and negative on that piece, but we didn't have to do that. And that's what I'm saying is if you had had 10n first, and then this had been minus n, you would just change it to plus and negative n, and then grouped those pieces together. Okay? But we didn't have that, so we don't have to worry. And basically, if one piece is negative and one is positive, you're always wise to put the negative piece in front right here in this spot instead of this spot. And that's what we did. So we now are going to group these pieces and group these pieces. I look at the front and I say, hey, 2 and 1, there's nothing that can factor out there number-wise, but n squared and an n, so we can factor out an n. And an n is always going to factor out of this front piece that we group together. I have a 2n there. N times 2n gives me 2n squared. Now, n times what gives you just an n? A minus 1. Now I come to this piece, 10 and 5. Well, a 5 factors out. What's left behind? A 2n, because 5 times 2n gives you the 10n, and 5 times a minus 1 gives you the 5. Notice that we have the same thing here. So we technically are factoring that out, and then we're left behind with this n plus 5. And there we have now factored it. And we could check, does this binomial times this binomial give us this trinomial? You could distribute through all the pieces, and you'll see that, yes, it does.